Summer is my favorite of the four seasons, and one of the many things I love about it is that it's the growing season. While spring is known for the beauty of flowering trees and shrubs, summer gives us the wonderful fruits and vegetables for which what's left of our garden state has become famous. I mean, who doesn't enjoy an ear of fresh, sweet Jersey corn? Or biting into a juicy Jersey peach, if you can find them. Or how about those meaty, flavor-packed Jersey tomatoes, as opposed to those stiff, pink, flavorless imposters that are forced on us throughout the year? Or how about pancakes and muffins made with fresh Jersey blueberries? Anybody hungry? Well, like many of you, my family had a backyard garden, and ours featured some beautiful rose bushes that were planted by my grandmother. Plus, we had some peonies, some iris, a huge lilac shrub, and a trellis over the back gate covered with climbing roses. It was beautiful, a real slice of heaven on earth. But come summer, we would add to that tomatoes, eggplant, peppers, cucumbers. Once and a couple of times we tried corn, but the squirrels always got to it before we could. And, of course, the ever-popular Italian herb, basil. And I can still hear my mother calling out the kitchen door, "Michael, bring me 3 nice leaves of basilico." You Italians know basilico, don't you? Yeah. I was in my 30s before I realized that basilico and basil were the same thing. But that garden taught me a lot about how things grow and what prevents growth, as in addition to mowing the lawn, my summer chores included weeding the garden, which I absolutely detested, but from which came great satisfaction when I saw how nice the garden looked after it was freshly weeded and could literally taste the fruits of my labor. In his famous parable, Jesus teaches us today that the world itself is kind of like a big garden with God as the planter. Every time we gather here, every time we read and reflect on a passage from the Bible, it's like God is planting his word in us, like a seed planted in the soil. A word that is wise and true. A word that, when followed, guides us to living a better way of life here and now, and a life that leads to even greater life in the hereafter. The question for us today is, what happens when God plants that seed in us? Do we welcome it? Do we allow it to take root and to grow? Do we fertilize it with frequent prayer and reception of the sacraments? Do we allow it to make us more faithful and compassionate people who would never deliberately hurt someone or cause anyone to feel bad about themselves? People who hear and answer the call to serve others wherever and whenever the opportunity presents itself? Or are we sometimes the kind of soil that is hostile to the seed, who allow the things of this world that we crave so much to come between us and the great gardener and each other? Who allow the weeds of selfishness, hatred, jealousy, conceit, lust, gluttony, bigotry, and other deadly sins to grow and choke the Lord's seed as it struggles to grow in our minds and hearts? of his stubborn people who rushed to temple and synagogue in times of trial only to forget their God in times of peace and plenty. The prophet Isaiah once said, "Gross indeed is this people's heart. They have scarcely heard with their ears. They have firmly closed their eyes." Well, how about us? In Isaiah's words, will God's word return to him void, or will it achieve the end for which it was sent? That, my friends, is completely up to you and me. It isn't easy to nurture that seed planted in us. It will often call us to sacrifice something of ourselves, our time perhaps, our talents, our pride, and so many of the other things we treasure. Like working in a garden, it may call us to do things we'd rather not, like forgive someone, or obey someone, challenge someone, defend someone, help someone. But St. Paul reminds us today that the sufferings of the present are as nothing compared to the glory that will be revealed. The true freedom from want, from need, that God has in store for his children, that we can help bring about in the garden of this world if we so choose. By the power of this and every Eucharist, planted like a seed in our very bodies, may we bear the sweet fruit of God's love and reveal it to others, not just the people we like, but anyone and everyone we might encounter in the course of our day. Then we can rest assured that when the time comes, Jesus, the great gardener, will call out to us and say, "Well done, good and faithful servants. You have embraced the seed of my word. You have strived, however imperfectly, to live by it, to let it grow. Set down now your spades, your hoes, your rakes, your crosses, and enter into the home of my Father, the garden of eternity." God bless you.